so I felt like it'd be a perfect time for a round of fantasy face-off. There's very few things in 2019 that you can really depend on. The Patriots going to the AFC Championship, Sean O'Hara making a Will Ferrell movie reference at some point during Good Morning Football on any given day.
What?
Pete Carroll chewing gum on the sideline, Kyle Brandt having at least one costume change a show, and Peter finding a way to get Patrick Mahomes in cool plays, bro, even without getting him in it.
I got him.
How did you do that?
Got him and Byron Pringle involved.
I was like, wow, he's not going to promote. There's Mahomes. There he is. The other thing you can depend on always, on any given week, in any given matchup, is T.Y. Hilton taking care of business against the Houston Texans. Take a look at this. He averages over 100 yards a game. This is a big just amount of games you can look at. A lot to look at with 15 games. 9 touchdowns. We always say T.Y. doesn't score them. He always happens to do it against the Texans. There was a clown mask thing involved a couple of years ago. He was called out. He balls out every time. So I thought we could do a little fantasy face-up. Want to know why, Kyle?
Why, Kay?
I'm getting a ton of questions on Twitter. What's going on with T.Y.? It's a running offense. They're giving it to Marlon Mack every 3 seconds. T.Y. Hilton is averaging less than 60 yards a game, but he missed a game and a half with injuries, and he still has 4 touchdowns in that time. So I like him quite a bit more than a couple of these guys. You're looking at your wide receiver rankings over at NFL.com. Let's pair up T.Y. Hilton, our boy, with Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, I thought he'd have a bounce back last week. It did not happen. He is started the season hot. It sort of trailed off, and he's going up against Tennessee. Don't sleep on the Titans' defense. They're not very generous. Top 10 most stingy against opposing wide receivers. They put the brakes on Julio Jones, the likes of guys like Odell Beckham Jr. So I think the upside, the track record with T.Y., you got to put him above at least Keenan. Edelman in New York, Monday Night Football, he'll ball out. We know he will. If he doesn't score touchdowns, I like the 4 touchdowns, the fact that he's getting the rock. He's the only show in town, let's not forget. I don't know, is Edelman going to score a touchdown? I know he had one last week, but I just don't see that continuing. So I think the upside lies in T.Y. Hilton.
All right, keep going.
Adam Thielen?
Love Thielen.
Up against Detroit. Here's my thing. If you're picking between T.Y. Hilton, who's playing off a bye, by the way, so I'm not worried about the injuries. He's had extra rest. Or you're going to go with Thielen. Is Thielen the number 1? Is he the number 2? Is Dalvin like the first option for what they want?
Yeah.
If they want to establish the run, they'll go to Dalvin. Stephon Diggs, 8 last week. He had 3 touchdowns. You know T.Y. is the number 1 guy. So to me, I would have to play him over Thielen, although I do like the matchup. Detroit's, middle of the pack against wide receivers. I'm going to go ahead and give T.Y. the edge over a team that he owns. He is the mayor of Houston.
He is.
All right. How about Tyler Lockett against Baltimore?
He's on fire.
Here's what I don't like. They just got Marcus Peters rakes.
Yeah.
Marcus Peters knows Tyler Lockett.
Oh, yeah.
He's played him many a time. Now they've got Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters. I don't know if I love this for Tyler Lockett on a team that's given Chris Carson the rock a ton. So I'm going to go ahead and bump him up over Tyler Lockett. Tyler Boyd finds himself in the top 10.
I like Boyd. I got Boyd on my team.
Did these rankings change because they lost Jalen Ramsey all of a sudden? I'm not so sure about that. I'm just going to say, we're going to keep going.
Go right past Boyd. I had a quiet game last week.
Unfortunately. He is the only show in town, but I'm not loving it. Michael Thomas at Chicago. Kyle.
Yeah.
I know we want Michael Thomas to suppress Mike versus Marv.
Yep.
But this is a slugfest. This is not a game at Soldier Field that I would think would be high scoring.
Yeah, well, not only do the Bears have that great secondary, I think the Saints are going to run the ball a lot like the Raiders did against the Bears. And Joakim Hicks, I think this will be a lot of running for the Saints. I think Michael Thomas's numbers might be slightly down this week.
Yeah, this is the top 5 toughest defense on wide receivers. Let's put him above there. So now he's entering top 5 territory.
Okay.
Tyreek Hill.
The Cheetah, you going to go?
He's playing tomorrow night in Denver. Short week. Those are always sort of weird. I don't like it. I feel like this is a sure thing. Him again. If he doesn't have 100 yards and a touchdown, I'd be surprised. So Tyreek Hill, I don't know, 5 times in his career up against the Broncos, he's averaging less than 50 yards a game. So I don't love that with this revitalized Broncos squad.
Move him on up.
Jump him?
I'm going to jump him. And I think, DeAndre Hopkins at Indy, that is a tough one. I'm going to leave him there, I think.
All right.
I think I like these guys. How about your boy Cup?
Cup is doing
all the way at 2.
At the top, it's because of that. Atlanta.
Atlanta's helping a lot, aren't they?
Julio should ball out. Hopkins, Will Fuller and Cutie are doing
a couple glaring names not on your top 10. I'm amazed.
This is NFL.com's top 10. Not
Odell Beckham is nowhere to be found.
No, he's absolutely nowhere to be found.
Amazing. First round pick in fantasy.
Are you talking about the list or are you talking about the field?
You know who I think should be up here? Michael Gallup.
Michael Gallup's been great.
I said Amari last week. He got hurt. Can't predict that. I'm so sorry. But now Michael Gallup gets who? That Eagles secondary this week. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up above Tyler Boyd, who makes an appearance for the first time here in Week 7. He might fall out. These are all guys that are worthy of being in the top 10, but I think that our boy T.Y. needs to be higher because of what he does to Houston. There you go, your fantasy face-off for you. A little Nick Cage versus John Travolta-ish stuff.
Castor Troy.
To Will Selva in the newsroom. I just have to do that for Sean O'Hara.
That's right.
Love it.
Loves a movie reference.
That's it.
I'm going to take
Thank
off.
you very much. Hey, I noticed that there are no, there you go. Well done. Well, there are no Titans or Bucks on your Week 7 wide receiver rankings, or actually NFL.com wide receiver rankings. Back in 2015, Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota were seen as the faces of their respective franchises. Now fast forward to 2019, and their hourglasses are now down to the final grains of salt. Winston has Ryan Griffin behind him, so the Bucks are still all in on Winston. No one's pushing him, but backing up Mariota in Tennessee was former Dolphins starter Ryan Tannehill. And head coach Mike Vrabel wants to see more of him, apparently. NFL Network's Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero both reporting Tannehill will start Sunday against the Chargers. Tannehill relieved Mariota in the loss to the Broncos and provided a bit of a spark, throwing for 144 yards. The Jets are losing veteran left guard Kelechi Osemele. Ian also reporting Osemele will have surgery on his shoulder. Osemele, who's also been dealing with a chronic knee issue, has missed the past 2 games after injuring his shoulder in practice. Off the field, the Eagles Charitable Foundation, as part of an ongoing effort to make vision care accessible to every child in the school district of Philadelphia, handed out brand new eyeglasses to students who have been prescribed by an eye specialist. And according to research, 1 in 4 school-age children have an undetected vision problem. Rob Gronkowski shutting down any rumors of him potentially returning to the Patriots this season. Gronk telling WEEI in Boston when he retired for a reason. Gronk says he never says no because when he does, people think he's kidding. But the answer is just that, a no. Saying, quote, in my mind, that's how it is, it's a no. And we look at that with a healthy dose of cynicism there. Not so sure that we've seen the last of Gronkowski on the field. We shall see. Still to come in your future, plenty more Good Morning Football. We've got the big reveal next. Who are the players of the week for Week 6? Stick around and find out. You are watching Good Morning Football.